Okay, gang, here we are. This is Mr. OC coming to you on YouTube with the last question for our percent retake. What we've got here is a simple interest question. My youngest nephew, Nicky, is a junior in high school, and he's trying to save for college. He has $5,000 that he invests at a fixed return rate of 7%. How much will he have at the end of 2 years if the interest is calculated once a year? That's how you know it's a simple interest problem, because the interest is only calculated once a year. So please show your work. Well, in 1 year, how much is Nicky going to make? He is investing $5,000 and his rate of return is 7%, so he's going to make 7% of $5,000. How am I going to figure out 7% of $5,000? You guessed it, a ratio table. So here we go. I've got money up top and the percent on the bottom. 5,000 is what I'm investing, which means 5,000 is 100% of my investment. I'm going to do some friendly percents here. Easy friendly percent. 100 to 10, divide by 10. 100 divided by 10 is 10. 5,000 divided by 10, 500. All right, remember I'm looking for 7%, but I'm not there yet. So I'm going to go from 10 to 1. Divide by 10 again. 500 divided by 10, 50. Now I know 1% of $5,000 is $50. I'm going to actually jump, because I think you're all able to handle this by now, from 1 to 7%. How do I get from 1% to 7%? I multiply by 7. So I'm going to take my $50 and multiply it by 7 to give me $350. I know that because 7 times 5 times 10. Break apart by factors. 50 is 5 times 10. So 7 times 5 times 10 gives me $350, which means that that's 7% of $5,000. After 1 year then, what does my nephew have? He started with 5,000, he made 350, so we're going to add those together. So after 1 year, he has $5,350. But the question does not ask about 1 year. The question asks about 2 years. So we have to do this whole thing over again. This time, I need to find what 7% of 5,350 is. Why? Because I take that money that I made and I reinvest it for another year. Please note, it is not $350 times 2. $350 was 7% of 5,000. But I'm reinvesting all of my money. I'm not just investing $5,000 again, so I'm not just multiplying 350 times 2. It was a number one mistake with this problem. A second mistake was doing the multiplication here, trying to complicated do 7% times 5,350. I saw a lot of mistakes with some traditional method, 5,350 times 0 and 700. So a lot of trouble there. This is tricky. So since it's tricky, guess what? I'm not going to do it that way. How am I going to solve this problem? I am going to use a ratio table. And here we go. Here's my ratio table. Got money up top, percent down the bottom. Notice that my 100% is now changed. And that was the key to this problem. 100% of what I invest for the second year is $5,350. So I got to find 7%. Let's do it. 100 to 10, divide by 10. Okay, divide by 10, 5,350. Divided by 10, 535. I'm going to divide by 10 again to find 1%. Well, divide 535 by 10, I got 53 and 5/10. Notice again the relationship here between these values, friendly percents. This time I'm looking for 7%. I'm not going to multiply this times 7 because it's a little bit too much decimal multiplication for me right now. So I'm going to instead find 2%. Well, how do I go from 1 to 2? I just double it. So I'm going to double it. 53 and 5/10 times 2. Well, 50 times 2 is 100. 3 times 2 is 6. And a half times 2 is 1. 100 plus 6 plus 1 gives me 107. Hey, that's a pretty nice number to deal with. That's not so bad. All right, again, I'm looking for 7 here. So I'm going to find what 4 is, because it's easy for me to double. From 2 to 4, 2 times 2, it's easy to double 107. 100 times 2 is 200. 7 times 2 is 14. So 4% is 214. Well, I know 2 and I know 4. If I want to find 6, I can just add my 2% plus my 4%. Why am I going to find 6? Well, I know 1 and I want to know 7. So 1 plus 6 is going to give me 7. So I really think that 6 is going to help me out here. I know 2 plus 4 is 6. So I'm going to take my 2%, which is 107, and I'm going to add it to my 4%, which is 214. Well, 100 plus 200, 300, and 7 plus 14 is 21. So 6% was $321. Again, I'm looking for 7% total, which is 1% plus 6%. There's my 1% over here, $53.50, and now my 6% is $321. I'm going to add those together. 321 plus 50, 370. 371 plus 3, 374. 374 plus 5/10 is $374.50. Please notice that this is not 350. It's more. Why is it more than 350? Because I started out with more. Okay. So in the second year, that's what I made, $374.50. So what that means is after year 2, I started with $5,350. I made $374.50. So I'm just going to add them together. I'm going to add 300, get 5,650 plus 7,450. I'm going to add 50 to make it easier for myself and get 5,700 plus 2,450. And then I'm going to add my last 2,450 to give me a total of $5,724.50, which was the answer for what my nephew Nicky makes if he invests for 2 years at a fixed rate. Again, this was a simple interest problem. Okay. You hopefully did well on all 4 problems. If not, how can you improve your score? I'm going to strangely offer a retake of the retake. But if you want a ticket into that retake, then you have to show me your revisions. I've just given you some clues here. But the clues, which tell you how you can do it, don't necessarily help you explain your errors. So written revisions are still worthwhile. If you do the written revisions, you can come in and take the retake for the quiz. You may do this any lunch period as long as you arrange it with me ahead of time. You must do it, though, by March 17th, or your score stays. March 17th, why? Because it's the end of the quarter. Most importantly, if you have questions, please, 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 please ask. All right? Thanks a lot. Appreciate your patience through these videos. It's been tough for me because I've been waiting for them to upload for a long time. Again, if you need help, please ask questions. See you later.